Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Southern Virginia University Women's Volleyball from the Knight Sports Arena. I'm Jim Bresnahan. I'm joined by the men's volleyball coach, Tom Peterson. We're ready to bring you Knight's women's volleyball action tonight, non-conference action, as Southern Virginia University, with that long winning streak, gets ready to host the Virginia Wesleyan Marlins. And the Knights are coming off a big doubleheader sweep on Saturday in a tri-match, Tom. They were able to defeat Penn State Harrisburg Saturday morning, and they came back in the afternoon and also swept Bridgewater, a very impressive non-conference match win for the Knights Saturday afternoon. So, again, the Knights are really on a roll right now. They have a fantastic record of 18-4. They have won 14 straight matches.
I'm not sure that you could get much better. The first few matches, of course, that's right at the beginning of the season, and maybe not quite so important as the last matches. How many in a row now have they won?
Actually 13. The 17-4. If they win tonight, it'll be 18-4, and that would be 14 in a row. Again, their last loss actually came back in early September on the road at Washington Lee in that quad match, I guess you could say, where they played 2 matches on a Friday and 2 matches on a Saturday. They lost to Washington Lee in the second day of that tournament on a Saturday, and they haven't lost since.
Boy, yeah, if you could go back, I'm sure Coach Gwynn would, if she were to be asked, hey, do you think you could be undefeated at this point in time? She would say, oh, my gosh, don't talk about that. It's just a wonderful achievement so far, and now they're looking to win the conference. It's not just to get to the conference championship at all. It's just to win the whole thing now, and that's incredible for this year.
Yeah, they've got big conference matches coming up on Friday and Saturday on the road at Christopher Newport on Friday, and then at Mary Washington on Saturday. Right now the Knights are 5-0 in the conference. So obviously if they could beat Christopher Newport, who's also 5-0 on Friday, if they can knock them off on Friday and then come back and beat Mary Washington on Saturday, they would firmly control their own destiny as far as winning the regular season championship and also capturing the number 1 seed for the Capital Conference tournament.
Yeah, I think the 2 top seeds right now are the 2 top teams in the conference, if you had to say that. We'll meet next Friday, CNU and the Knights, possibly for the championship.
And it's all speculative, I guess, but again, we talk about these non-conference matches like tonight against Virginia Wesleyan. The Knights are 17-4. Virginia Wesleyan is 13-8. And if you obviously can't win the regular season or get the number 1 seed out of the Capital Conference, if you can't win the Capital Conference tournament, then even with this fantastic record the Knights have overall, then you start thinking about an at-large bid so you can get into the first time ever the Division III tournament, and that's where these non-conference matches are very important, especially down the stretch.
Yeah, I don't think that the Knights could lose even one of these matches and expect an at-large bid, so all of these are very important.
Knights trying to capture the opening point here in set 1. They go to Gwynn. It's knocked out of bounds by Virginia Wesleyan, and the first point of the first set goes to Southern Virginia. That's where that Saturday afternoon, it had to be very exhausting for the Knights to, first of all, knock off Penn State Harrisburg, Saturday morning, and come right back in the afternoon hours and beat Bridgewater, a very good team, and they beat them in straight sets as well. Yeah,
it was convincing, very convincing. In fact, it looked like they had more energy going into that match than they did in the match in the morning. So that's a very good compliment to the Knights. And now everyone should know that Penny Gwynn is second time now she has been named Player of the Conference. And it's 4 weeks in a row that a player from Southern Virginia has made Conference Player of the Week.
Yeah,
that's
you look
incredible.
back at the last month, it's twice, as you mentioned, for Penny Gwynn, once for Hannah Allred. Of course, 2 weeks ago it was Laree Crockett. That is saying something. Even though CNU is right there with the Knights at 5-0, the Knights have 4 players, 3 on their own, and obviously 1 sharing it over the last month or so as being CAC Players of the Week.
Well, this hasn't happened before. You know, the Knights are a young team in the NCAA, but it's never happened before, and I'm sure that CNU is looking at the Knights right now and going, oh, wow, we wish that was us. We had Players of the Week almost every week, and now it's the Knights, and it's going to be a fun match this next Friday. But first, here's the match that the Knights have to win tonight.
And Virginia Wesleyan able to pick up another point due to some confusion on the Southern Virginia side of the court. Higher with the attempted kill there. Good block by the Knights, though. That was Gwynn right up there, along with Higher.
Gwynn got all of it, as you could say. It's a very nice block. The ball goes right into her arms, and it goes down, almost straight down.
Now McKinley Knight will serve for the Knights, who have their second point of the first set. And like anything else, as far as Virginia Wesleyan is concerned, as they were able to pick up that point, they have to get used to the Knight Sports Arena, to the ceiling fans, to the court itself, to the crowd, you name it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does take a while to adjust. In fact, the good teams adjust just a little quicker than the other teams, but both teams have to adjust to this. It is 2-4.
So Virginia Wesleyan with the early lead here in set number 1. 4-2 over the Knights. Gwynn on the left side found an opening. Wow. It's 4-3.
Last time we talked about Gwynn and that little roll shot that she has mastered almost. You just roll it right over the block, and it looks like she's going to swing. So there's no one in the back row that's really looking for it to come right over the block. It's just a great shot.
And now Hoteling is into the match, and she will go ahead and serve as the Knights are only trailing now by 1, 4-3. Good low serve by Hoteling there. Good block by the Knights, and they pick up the point.
Lowness on a really nice block. She got her hand far enough over the net that angle shot, she got it with her hand and blocked it into the court.
And that serve going to be too far for Hoteling that time, so it's Virginia Wesleyan back on top here, 5-4. You know, Tom, it was interesting. I had a chance today to take a relook, I guess you could say, at the pre-Capital Conference prognostications before the season. Of course, the Knights were picked tied for 6th, essentially 6th or 7th in the preseason poll. And, of course, right now they're tied for 1st with CNU. And picked to be 4th in the conference was Marymount. And actually, they got 1 first-place vote. And last I checked, I think Marymount was at the very bottom of the standings.
You just never know from year to year. The personnel, injuries, a lot of things, and a lot of the process or the mental game, the team cohesion, all of that has to do with how you do the next season. And it's hard to prognosticate. But, yeah, no one really would have ever said that the Knights would be in this position at this time.
Penny Gwynn after the good kill. And it looks like that serve went too long, so the point goes to the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan. Last I checked, Virginia Wesleyan, I think, was 4th in the ODAC. Bridgewater was 3rd. Of course, again, the Knights beat Bridgewater on Saturday. Washington Lee was number 2 in that conference. They've already defeated Southern Virginia back in September, as we mentioned, the last loss for the Knights. And the leader in the ODAC was Randolph-Macon.
That's right. It would be very interesting if teams that meet at the beginning of the season, if they could meet near the end of the season. But right now, the Knights are playing a very good team in Virginia Wesleyan.
But it makes you wonder, especially when you talk about a Macon or maybe a Washington Lee. Again, if the Knights can pile up enough wins overall and maybe enough impressive non-conference wins in case they don't win the Capital Conference, they pick up a point there with Hannah Allred. To maybe get an at-large bid to the Division III tournament. What are the odds of them maybe opening up with maybe the top team in the ODAC, be it Washington Lee or Randolph-Macon?
Absolutely, it could happen. Yeah, the sites are predetermined the first round, but the seeds are not determined, of course.
Yeah, and the only problem there is either the Capital Conference or the ODAC is getting a whole lot of, I guess you could say, national respect. The last I saw, the last poll from a couple of weeks ago, CNU was 23rd in the poll. Randolph-Macon, who was leading the ODAC, was, and the others receiving votes. So it's not like the Capital Conference and the ODAC have, multiple teams in the top 25.
That is correct. Yeah, that's why the Knights have to win all of these games that they're playing. They can't lose to a team that's not ranked very high and expect an at-large bid.
Yeah, a lot of people would say, hey, we're 23-7 or 22-8. That should be enough, and that's not always the case.
That's exactly right. Some people call that RPI. It's your strength of schedule, and it's the strength of the teams that you play.
And a good kill that time by Denisha Hall. She came in with 197 kills for Virginia Wesleyan, able to pick up that point.
So far, a very good match, 10-7.
Virginia Wesleyan has basically had the lead the entire way. Hannah Allred smokes that one through, and it's 10-8.
Boy, it sure looks like that they're connecting there with Allred. Allred hitting the ball inside the court, but on a very quick set, just a little bit quicker than what we've seen, I think, and it's catching Wesleyan off guard.
Gwen almost got the tip of the net. Good block by Heyer.
Very nice one-on-one block. The only blocker there, and Heyer right in front of where the hitter was hitting the ball.
Yeah, the Knights are within a point now, 10-9. And the Marlins will get it across. Knight over to Crockett. They'll try the other side to Tiggs. It was a good kill attempt. Good dig there by the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan. Now they'll go over to Gwynn, who gets it back across. Good block by Heyer again. Crockett will set up Gwynn. It's blocked out of bounds, and the Knights pick up the point, their 10th.
The combination of Allred and Gwynn on the outside. I don't know how many times we've talked about it. Enough times here, every match it seems. That's the strength of the Knights, hitting on the left side of the court. And both Allred and Gwynn in the top of the statistics column in hitting percentage now in the country, not just in the conference, but in the country.
Man, we just had, I believe, over the first set, our first service error with Hannah Allred. So the Marlins are back on top here, 11-10. Knights trying to put a little run together here to capture set one. Blocked by the Marlins, but the Knights are able to get it back over. Oh, good dig there by Knight. They try the right side, and the Knights not able to make that block. And now Virginia Wesleyan's on top, 12-10.
Yeah, so far it is a very good Wesleyan team that's playing the Knights. The Knights have their hands full right now.
They came in 13-8, lost a couple of in a row. Here's Gwynn with a little tip. Good dig by McKinley Knight.
Yeah.
They go over to Gwynn again, and she kind of misjudged her timing of her jump. And the Marlins now have a 3-point lead here in set one.
13-10. Yeah, going back, talking about Penny Gwynn being the player of the week once again for the second time this year. Penny is 12th in the nation in kills per set. How many kills that she gets per set? 4.3, and that's good for the 12th position in the country.
And the Knights were able to pick up that block to make it 13-11 now. And Knight will go ahead and serve here for the Knights. No stopping that kill by Virginia Wesleyan.
They're going to call it out.
Yeah, they are going to call it out or in. Let's see. I think they called it in.
Well, I think they did. I think it's going to be point for.
Both so the Knights will go get the point. The Knights were a little confused themselves. They were setting up as if they weren't going to serve. So it's
they thought it was in,
now.
Yeah.
So a break for Southern Virginia to pull them within one. Good tip there as for Virginia Wesleyan. Elizabeth Britton with 165 kills coming into the match today was able to decipher, I guess, Tom, that she's getting blocked over there. So she was a little tipped over the blockers.
Yeah, a lot of tips. So, some teams choose to play a certain defense where they call it a man up, where a player comes up for the tip, and other teams choose to play with all their players for the kill, which usually goes deep into the court. And you could call that a perimeter defense. And the Knights usually have a perimeter defense, what they're doing. So when they do tip, and it looks like it's going to be a good swing, but they tip the ball, it usually can go down.
Gwynn able to get that kill. No stopping that shot by Penny Gwynn.
Yeah.
And now Hoteling back in to serve. Knight not really able to come up with that dig cleanly, and it cost the Knights a point.
15-13.
So Virginia Wesleyan has basically led the entire first set, holding on to that 2-point advantage here, almost midway through the first set. Knights could use one of those patented 4 or 5 point runs right now. And Virginia Wesleyan picks up another point and takes a 3-point lead.
Yeah, good play by Wesleyan.
So the Marlins on top here, 16-13 now. They've not made too many errors, Tom. No service errors that I can recall for Virginia Wesleyan.
That is right.
Good block by the Knights. And the Knights will pick up that point.
Yeah, the referee called a double on the set.
So we'll see if Penny Gwynn, who is really a good server and has enabled sometimes with her serve to allow the Knights to go on a run. We'll see if she can get one here.
Yeah, good serve.
Crockett will go to Lonis, and she does a little tip. And Virginia Wesleyan was able to get on top of that. Now back to Lonis for the kill, and the Knights pick up point 15 to get within 1.
Yeah, Lonis, she's a middle hitter, middle blocker, but at times she can hit on the right side of the court out by the pin, we could call it, and she has a very hard swing, so she's able to put the ball down in the corner as well.
16-15. Oh, great kill that time. Again, it was Denisha Hall, who came in with 197 kills, already has had some kills here in this first set. She's 5'8" out of Quantico, Virginia, just a junior.
Yeah, that was a very good swing, hard swing.
Knights again trailing by 2, and a miss hit by McKinley Knight gives Virginia Wesleyan back to a 3-point advantage at 18-15. So just when it looked like the Knights might tie and try to take the lead, it's Virginia Wesleyan back with that 3-point cushion.
Yeah. Ball control here.
And a mistake by the Knights is returned by Denisha Hall. And now Virginia Wesleyan has a 4-point lead. The Knights will go ahead and call the game's first timeout.
Yeah, this is a good team. This has to worry the Knights just a little bit. Not just to, you kind of get lulled away sometimes as a team. You've won so many sets. In fact, they haven't lost very many sets at all for the last many matches.
Have not lost any home matches at all whatsoever. And undefeated at home.
Yeah, and so you kind of relax a little bit, and now's the time that this will test them a little bit. Sometimes the teams that have gone five games or 5 sets in the last few matches, they've been tested just a little bit more. They remember that they're hungry. So the Knights really have to regroup here and make sure that they're playing hard and as tough as they can every single point. You can't just relax.
Well, I know we talked about this on Saturday. You wonder with the match Friday night right into the doubleheader on Saturday, when does fatigue, either mental or physical or both, take its toll? And especially when you've got the big match coming up against CNU on Friday to be followed by another big match against Mary Washington on the road on Saturday. I doubt that the Knights are looking ahead because that's still several days away. But, again, you just wonder about sometimes loss of focus, maybe temporarily, or just fatigue setting in.
Yeah, and that happens in practice quite a bit. Sometimes when you're a little bit hungry, where you have to get a little bit better to beat the best teams, it makes you practice harder.
Yep.
And when you're winning and winning and winning, sometimes you relax a little in practice as well.
Knights trail here by 4. Needed this point. Blocked. And Allred with a little tip over. Virginia Wesleyan now doing some blocking. And that shot is returned by Hoteling, but not over the net.
Now this is going to be tough for the Knights to come back, 20-15. They do have one timeout left.
I'm not sure the Knights have lost the first set at home this season.
Yeah.
Again, they haven't lost too many sets whatsoever, and they haven't lost any home matches.
Yeah, their ball control is not the best right now either.
They're trying to figure out who to go to. Allred able to pick up that point. Knights really needed that one, 20-16, and now here is where they need to go on a run. Only problem is Haley Lonis has that all or nothing serve. Sometimes good for an ace, sometimes good for an error.
Well, let's see if it goes in this time. Yep.
Good low serve.
And
Allred able to return it right away and pick up the point. So we'll see if
said
Haley,
it, Jim. Yeah.
We'll see if Haley can do that maybe 3 or 4 more times. How about that?
That's right.
And now Virginia Wesleyan calls a timeout. They're first. They just want to make sure this little run here by the Knights of 2 points doesn't expand into 4, 5, or 6 points.
Yeah, I think that's a good timeout by Wesleyan. Now, sometimes when you call a timeout when a server is on a roll as well, it kind of ices the server just a little bit so they don't serve it as tough.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they just serve it out of bounds, and the coach can take credit for that almost. But let's see what happens with Lonis here out of the timeout. If she makes another good serve.
Yeah, because you could see Virginia Wesleyan didn't spend too much time at all in that huddle.
That's right.
What, maybe 10 seconds?
Yeah. It was a very fast timeout. It looks like they know what they want to do. Sometimes it's just a matter of regrouping and saying, okay, what is our play?
Yep.
Let's get back out there.
See what the Knights can do with this serve down by 3. It'll be Crockett over to Lonis. Pushes it across. Good dig there by Lonis. Over to Allred. Blocked by the Knights.
Oh, didn't get a swing. Too bad. And the call is 4 hits.
Yep, point will go to Virginia Wesleyan. That was a big point, 21-17 now.
Yeah. Now, do the Knights have a timeout still? I think they do.
I think both teams still have one left in this first set.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting when either team takes a timeout the rest of the way.
At this stage, though, if the Knights really have any serious aspirations of making a comeback here in set 1, Tom, they've really got to pick up 2 or 3 points in a row.
Yeah, fast.
They'll try Allred.
Oh, good up.
Great play by Hoteling. The Knights get it back over. Good teamwork there. Good block by the Knights. And good play there by Virginia Wesleyan. This is one of the best points of the season so far, I think.
Oh.
And that shot by Allred is just too strong and out of bounds.
Yeah, that's the first play by Allred that she wishes she would have back. She's hit almost 100% so far, but that one went wide. Too bad.
And now the Knights, I believe, are down by 5 here, 22-17.
Boy, ball control's playing a part in this set.
Hoteling not able to make the dig. Now it's Virginia Wesleyan just needing 2 more points, I believe.
And it'll be a timeout, it looks like.
23-17, Virginia Wesleyan. And maybe for the first time this season, at least at home, the Knights are going to find out what it's like to be down 1-0 in sets.
That's it. Yeah, it's kind of looking that way right now. It'll be a big comeback if the Knights can come back here. But, yeah, I'm impressed by Hall. What number is that? Number 3, I think, for Wesleyan. Yep. She has a good arm, and she has good range. She's hit it both down the line and cross court.
Shows a lot of confidence, too. Doesn't have any hesitation about what she wants to do and what she's going to do.
Yeah, I didn't really get a good look at the other outside hitter for Wesleyan. But when number 3 is in the front row, boy, she's hard to stop. And looks like she's right front right now. If the Knights can get this side out and even go one more, then Hall goes to the back row, and that's probably when the Knights can capitalize a little bit more.
Well, down right now, I believe 23-17, Tom. If the Knights want to try to win this first set, they're going to literally have to have at least, I would think, 5 points in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, they can only afford one more side out for Wesleyan.
And Wesleyan just hasn't made a whole lot of mistakes. No service errors that I can recall, as Allred picks up that important point to make it 23-18.
Wow, it sure looks like that's planned by the Knights. It's such an inside set. It's like 6 or 7 feet inside the antenna, which is unusual, but that looks like a good play by the Knights. Well planned. Oh, good serve.
Good block by the Knights. Knight setting up Allred. Now Crockett with the set. She'll try Tiggs.
Probably goes to Allred right here. No, middle.
And Higher hit it too strong.
Yeah, too bad, out of bounds. Yeah, Allred's kind of on fire, I think, and just get the ball to her in this situation. Yeah, if they have any chance, that was it. They have to do it here.
A lot of set points now, obviously, for Virginia Wesleyan. On top here, 24-18. They'll try to put it away right here.
Wow.
Good dig there by Allred. Good block. Knight to Crockett to Allred. Got it in.
Yeah, I think they could have done that just a little bit earlier. Go to Allred, kind of the hot hand, and Allred hitting at that cross-court shot. Scored most of the time. This has to be in. Way to pick up the tip, the Knights.
Gwen. Knights are able to get it back over. And it's in for Virginia Wesleyan, and they claim set number 1, 25-19.
Boy, Virginia Wesleyan really played well that time. Like you said, Jim, not very many mistakes, no service errors or one. Just a very good first set by Wesleyan. Now the Knights have to figure out, again, set 2 is the important set many times, and it's just how are they going to respond now? Like you said, it's been a while since the Knights have been down 1 set to 0. And this is the time they have to come out right to begin with and take the momentum away from Wesleyan.
And the Knights, again, have never lost at home this season in a home match. That is being threatened now as Virginia Wesleyan is just 2 sets away from claiming the match and sending the Knights down to their first home defeat of the 2017 season. This is the next to last regular season home match. The Knights will be at home next Tuesday taking on Randolph, and if they don't collapse in the conference and stay either first or second in the conference, they can probably count on a home match in the conference tournament semifinals.
Yeah, and I don't want to jinx the Knights in any way, but sometimes when you've been winning so much, a loss, we keep talking about the automatic bid, but even if the Knights don't win tonight, sometimes that's not such a bad thing because now it makes them really refocus for the rest of the season.
And I doubt the players are like us talking about non-conference wins and total record and who you've beaten at large bid for the Division III tournament. They're just really focusing, I'm sure, on one match at a time.
Yeah, very, very much so. But, again, a big match on Friday. Maybe just in the back of your mind, some of the players are kind of looking forward to that match and maybe overlooking Wesleyan just a little bit. Could be. Well,
I know for one thing, obviously, the winner of that CNU Southern Virginia match on Friday will have the lead. There will still be a lot of conference matches to go, 3 to be exact for the Knights, because they play Mary Washington on Saturday, and then they play St. Mary's and Marymount the following weekend on the road. Still, though, if you can beat CNU at CNU and then turn around and beat Mary Washington, anything can happen on the road, obviously, but I would think they would be a heavy favorite on the road at St. Mary's and certainly Marymount the following weekend. So, again, a huge conference match coming up for the Knights at Christopher Newport on Friday.
That is right. Well, but this match, everyone, and especially the crowd, would like to remain undefeated here at home. The Knights and the home crowd, always excited. It's been such a good season, and the crowd is so excited this year about women's volleyball, and they don't want to lose. No one wants to lose, and maybe the crowd will get back into it just a little bit more with their yelling and screaming, and that helps the Knights quite a bit.
Well, as we've talked about, set 2 could be so important sometimes, and this time it's going to be important for the Knights to try to avoid going down 2 sets and try to even things up, and probably just as important, try to grab a little momentum so they can maybe go into that 3rd set all even with some momentum behind them.
Yeah. Looks like the Knights will start the same way as they have for quite a while. They always start in a rotation 1, it's called. That's when the setter is in the right back area. And Teagues, number 12, is opposite the setter. She starts left front.
But I'll tell you one thing. It's going to be tough to beat this Virginia Wesleyan team if they keep playing like they did in set 1, where they are on fire as far as their enthusiasm and their confidence with their kill attempts, and they don't make mistakes. You don't see a whole lot of service errors. That's going to be hard. A team that's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, when you play a team that doesn't make mistakes, you have to even play harder. You can't afford to make your own mistakes, of course, but the Knights haven't been for quite a while. They're one of the leaders in the nation in hitting percentage, and what they also are is they're one of the leaders in the nation in holding the other team down to a low hitting percentage.
Let's see if the Knights can get set 2 off and running here on a good start. And blasting that one in for the kill was Elizabeth Britton, the sophomore, 5'10" from Midlothian, second on the team in kills, right behind number 3, Denisha Allen. So just like that, it is 1-0 Virginia Wesleyan. And the Knights come right back with Tiggs with a little tip over.
Well, the outside hitter, as you said, number 7, Britton, also looks good for Wesleyan. So that's a strength for them, too. They're outside hitters.
Then Heyer actually, I think, got that kill, and good return there by Lindsay Hires, who getting a lot of playing time here in the first couple of sets as Gwynn was able to get it back over. Now on the left side, Britton finds an opening, and somehow Allred able to get on top of that one with a dig. Good block, but it's blocked out of bounds.
Yeah. Yeah, the Knights just a half a step behind, both blocking and with their ball control right now. They really do need to regroup right here. And that, I'm not sure that the ball really, if Allred really got that ball up, she was kind of wondering herself, I thought.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I really thought that hit the cord, but fortunately for the time for the Knights, it was ruled otherwise, and that was a block by Virginia Wesleyan that results in another point for the Marlins with Alyssa Taylor serving. She's also a sophomore from Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. No returning that shot by Gwynn.
That was hit into the seam between the block. The block didn't close, and when a player sees that, has a full swing, they can bounce a ball just like that.
So Knight will serve, and that one's going out.
Oh, too bad.
We mentioned that Virginia Wesleyan, by my count, has not had any service errors so far in the first 2 sets. Knights have actually had a few.
Yes, they have. And usually the last matches, they've been good in that ace-to-air ratio, but not tonight so far.
Plus, the other team, lately, the opposition has been pretty bad in that category, the ratio. Good dig there by Allred, saving the point temporarily for the Knights. Another good dig by Hannah Allred.
Good dig.
That was McKinley Knight over to Allred, and she got it across the net for the point.
Allred just a little bit hesitant with she didn't take a full swing, and boy, the ball just almost crawled and got the hands out and crawled over the net.
The way that Virginia Wesleyan is playing, I think the Knights will take points right now, Tom, any way they can get them.
That's exactly right.
Hoteling is in for the serve, and she hits it right into the net for an error.
Yeah, that's a couple of missed serves now for Hoteling. But she does have a good serve, so the Knights just need to catch fire a little bit and get that momentum going.
Gwynn, good dig there by the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan, and that shot's going to go out.
Yeah, Britton with the back row swing, but it swung hard, but hit it out of bounds. So now 5-4, 4-5, I guess you would say.
Well, you've got Hall on the left side. A little confusion there between Hoteling and Knight as to who was going to take that shot, and the point goes to the Marlins.
Yeah. Boy, the Knights just can't seem so far they almost catch up, and then some kind of a mistake to let Wesleyan continue to be ahead.
Marlins will set up Hall on the left side. Gets the point. Boy, she is really authoritatively getting her kill shots to just go inside the line.
Yeah, Hall, number 3, Wesleyan, hitting the ball, and sometimes that's going over the block. It's not just going around. She has a good arm and can jump well.
That shot by Allred is out.
I think the Knights are showing just a little bit of frustration, 8-4. Just some of the shots that would normally go in and being relaxed as they take those shots. Now they're kind of pressing just a little bit harder and making even more mistakes.
And Allred couldn't get around the referee.
Oh, he called a replay.
Yeah, he did.
The lines person didn't know where to go, so kind of was in the way. And the head referee, I actually haven't seen that that call for a long time. The lines person got in the way, so it's a replay.
See if the Knights could take advantage. They try Lonis, blocked by Hall. Allred with a little tip over. No one there for Virginia Wesleyan. They were a little confused as who was going to take that.
Yeah, the Hall, the outside hitter, looked like she could have taken that ball and then just pulled up at the last second. Anytime you look like you're going for the ball and then hesitate, the person that could actually go for the ball after you, it kind of jukes them a little bit.
Right side, kill, dig there by Hoteling. Gwynn launches it over. And another kill by Denisha Hall.
Yeah, Hall's on fire as well. I think that the Knights really have to figure out how to block Hall, where she's hitting that ball. She hits that ball kind of a wrist away, we call it, where the wrist turns toward the outside of the court, not just facing where she's actually hitting. But she can still hit it hard.
Gwynn tips it over. Hall with a good save there. Blocked by Virginia Wesleyan. Two Knights are on the ground.
It's like they're okay.
Good quick shot by the Knights by, I believe, Lurie Crockett.
Yeah, they both went for the ball. You know, and as a coach, I'd rather see two people kind of crash and go for the ball than somebody be hesitant. But they kind of crashed pretty hard. 9-6 or 6-9.
And we'll see if the Knights can keep it going here, down by 3 here after losing. And there's another service error.
Yeah, looked like Crockett just didn't take her time for that one.
Lost the first set 25-19 and now trailing here 10-6. Virginia Wesleyan not able to get that point, though. The Knights are able to pick up point number 7.
Yeah, you know, it just seems like you keep waiting for the Knights to come on, but Wesleyan just doesn't make too many mistakes. So the Knights making enough mistakes that it keeps the Wesleyan ahead.
Good serve by Allred. Almost a tip there for Higher. Now the Knights will try Tiggs, and she gets the point.
And I think Tiggs is a key for this match the rest of the way. You can't just always keep going to the same people and expect the same result, kill after kill. You have to have somebody else take up some of the slack, and I think Teagues is that person.
Allred, nice long serve there. It'll be Britton.
Oh, great. Knight with a great dig.
And Allred's shot is out.
Wow. She better go apologize tonight because that was such a great a one-handed dig.
So it's 11-8 now, I believe.
It is.
A 3-point lead here for Virginia Wesleyan. They seemingly have led by 2, 3, or 4 points really the entire match so far.
Yeah. Oh, let's see, it was that Higher, I think. Just didn't tip the ball over the net.
And now the Knights are trailing by 4. And that's a dangerous margin right now, about halfway through set 2.
It is. There's a good play.
Yeah, good serve, or good set, and good put away by Gwynn.
I don't know if you can tell by your view how low that set is. Once a really low set is connected to the hitter, it's very hard to stop. That was a great play by the Knights.
Little dump there by Virginia Wesleyan. Knights will try Gwynn again.
Oh, my.
Good dig. It's going out, though. 12-10.
Well, both Gwynn and Allred, with the power that they can show hitting on the outside, that can change a match, the momentum. Just 1 or 2 swings, just the crowd goes, wow, and it can change momentum.
Virginia Wesleyan gets it over. Allred with the dig. Crockett to Tiggs. Now Crockett will set up Allred. And Britton will give it a try. 2 Knights are able to make that dig. Good save by Hannah Allred.
Another good play by the Knights.
And it'll be Crockett getting it back over. Great effort here by the Knights on this point. Can they win it? They do.
Yes.
That really was a well-earned point for Southern Virginia University.
12-11, but what a great rally. I hope that you can replay that at home somehow.
A lot of stars. That really was a team rally, too.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody seemed to touch the ball on that one.
And we'll see if that kind of a point, Tom, can maybe after this timeout allow the Knights to build enough momentum to maybe go on a little run here, take control of set 2, and even this match.
Absolutely, and I actually think it's a great timeout by Wesleyan. The crowd really excited over that long rally and winning that rally. And I think they would have been cheering and screaming the next point. So Wesleyan choosing to kind of simmer down everybody by a timeout.
The one thing I have noted was the Knights are trying to make this run here with having trailed at 1 point by 4 is that Denisha Hall is on the bench here in set 2.
Yeah, she comes out in the back row. And a serving specialist comes in for her and plays through the back row. Yep. And I was just going to say, this is the time I think that the Knights, it seems like when that Hall, number 3 for Wesleyan, is in the back row, that's when they need to make hay and make some points. The other outside hitter doesn't seem to have quite the power that number 3 does.
Let's see what McKinley Knight can do with this serve. Good low serve. And a little dump there by Wesleyan, picks up the point. That was a key point for them to make it 13-11.
Yeah. You almost get the feeling that part of the strategy is to keep number 3 in the back row, and that's where you need to pick up a bunch of points. If you're the Knights, you can't make mistakes when she's in the back row.
Tiggs is blocked. They go over to the other side to Gwynn. And now Wesleyan, good block there by Crockett, but not able to return it. And now Virginia Wesleyan has turned a 1 point lead into a 3 point lead.
Yeah, 14-11. Good play by Wesleyan. They just keep hanging in there.
You wonder, Tom, if the Knights end up losing this second set, are they capable of a 3-set comeback?
Yeah, you kind of wonder at this point. If you don't if you relax, it's hard to just turn it on whenever you want to. So we'll see.
15-11 now, the Knights trail. And now they'll pick up another point, the Marlins will, to make it 16-11. So
wow.
The Knights had gotten to within one at 12-11, and a timeout was taken, and Wesleyan has come off with 4 straight points.
Yeah. Boy, and still some ball control issues for the Knights continue.
That might have gone out of bounds if Wesleyan had led it on the right side for their court. Tiggs will try it and pick up the point.
Yeah, even if Tiggs doesn't get just a ton of kills, just her ability to at least swing at the ball without errors is important for the Knights. We've got to loosen up both sides of the court, not just always going to Allred or to Gwynn.
Tailing will serve. Knights need one of those 4 or 5 point runs here.
Wow. That ball was, they called it out. So point Knights. That's a good point for the Knights.
Very close, 16-13. And again, we'll have to check the stats once we get to the end of set 2, but I don't believe the Marlins have a service error just yet.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Tailing.
Good serve.
Good low serve that time. And I think we are going to have maybe a double hit or lift.
Yeah, on the setter. This 16, is the point 14. Where you kind of think the Knights will pull up close or tie it up or go ahead, but it always seems so far that Wesleyan has had an answer.
See if Knights can complete this run all the way to maybe tying and 16-15. Boy, if you're the Marlins, you might want to take another timeout. Even though that would be their second.
That would be. 16-15 still, it looks like.
Yep. Tailing on a good run here, serving. Good dig by McKinley Knight. Crockett over to Gwynn. And the Knights pick up the point to tie set 2 at 16-16.
Yeah, when a hitter...
Now a timeout taken here by the Marlins.
Wow, so that's their second timeout at 16 all. It's very important now after the timeout to keep this momentum going for the Knights because there are no more timeouts. It'll be interesting. It seems like the Wesleyan is very well coached, those timeouts. I'm impressed with the timeouts, actually. But now when you don't have timeouts, sometimes if you're a smart team, you start doing some things to slow the momentum. Like, oh, my shoe's untied. You might untie it yourself, but now you get the attention of the referee, or I have to wipe the floor.
But you can see that this Marlins team seemingly is a big different team, at least. Just as what their capabilities might be on the floor without Denisha Hall, number 3, out there.
Yeah, absolutely. She's still in the back row, and this is when the Knights have made their points. I'm not sure what rotation they are in, 16 all. But if Hall comes in the front row this next rotation, then, momentum may switch back to Wesleyan.
So these are important serves here for Hoteling.
Absolutely.
16-16.
Oh, too bad.
And here comes Hall back in.
Yeah, a missed serve. That's big.
So it's 17-16 Wesleyan, and just as importantly, maybe, Hall is back in on the front line.
If you're Wesleyan, hey, you got to get the ball to number 3.
See if the Knights can avert the problem with that long serve.
Here it is, number 3, and she kills it.
Yep, 18-16 Wesleyan now.
That's a big turnaround. That missed serve was big.
Especially if the Marlins go on their own little run. They've picked up 2 straight points now.
Yeah.
Britton serving. They try Lonis. Good dig by the Marlins, but they're not able to return it. The Knights pick up the point to make it 18-17.
Yeah, Lonis, number 14 for the Knights. She hasn't swung at too many balls than the ones that she has swung at lately. She's been able to connect. That might be somebody to go to a little bit more.
Knights trying to win set 2 to even up this match. And here is Hall. Good block by the Knights to avoid a big kill. Lonis with a little tip. Couldn't get it over. 19-17. Marlins back to a 2-point lead.
Boy, just when you think that Knights ought to get even or go ahead, just another mistake.
Might just be that type of night, Tom, but it's still relatively early in the match here for Southern Virginia. If they can come back and win set 2, and Allred.
Another hit out of bounds, though.
20-17. Marlins now with a 3-point advantage.
Yeah, now we're down to crunch time. The last 5 points of the match, or of the set. These are very important.
Yeah, a miss hit by McKinley Knight to make it 21-17.
4-point spread now. That's big. This may be a timeout.
It is. So the Marlins just keep answering every time the Knights seem to get close to make a little run. The Marlins always seem to have the answer.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how the rest of this set goes. But if it does go to Wesleyan, it'll be interesting what is said in the locker room. It's that 10-minute break, and that's actually good for if Southern Virginia doesn't win this set, able to regroup and talk about it a little bit, get on each other a little bit to get up for the rest of the match. But still down 2-0, they haven't found themselves in this position for quite a while.
Well, soccer will be at home tomorrow. Men's soccer, I believe. Women's soccer is on the road. Women's soccer looking very good right now for maybe making the Capital Conference tournament. Football was not in action last weekend. They'll be playing at Salisbury Saturday. And, of course, the big news yesterday, Tom, was that starting in the 2019 football season, the year after next, it'll be Southern Virginia transferring out of the New Jersey Athletic Conference in just football only and switching to the Old Dominion Athletic Conference and joining teams like Washington Lee, Guilford, Randolph-Macon, Hampton-Sydney, right on down the line.
That is great for SVU football.
They'll start play in the ODAC in 2019. And Hall tipped over. Knights will try Gwynn with a little tip over. Knights trying to pick up this all-important point.
Both teams just not able to get a swing. Here's one to Hall, though.
Great dig there by McKinley Knight, getting it back over for the point for the Knights. And we'll see if that spurs the Knights on to maybe a little run here with Lonis now serving. 21-18, Knights down still by 3.
This is important to get in. Oh,
great
good
serve.
serve.
And the Knights pick up the point to make it 21-19.
Yeah, Lonis again, that serve that just really floats. Sometimes it goes out, but when it's in, it's hard to handle.
And again, the pro thing is, we said this already in set one, we need Lonis to, after that good serve, to maybe do 2 or 3 more like it.
And that's a good serve.
Boy, Hall, unstoppable right now.
Yeah. So 22-19. Now they're kind of down to the last few points. Does Southern Virginia still have another timeout? I think they do.
They're down by 3.
Oh.
And it's out.
Wow, that was a big, I don't know, we call those shanks when you hit the ball so that the setter can't even get a hand on it. We call it a shank. And that was a big mishandled ball. Too bad.
23-19.
And another out-of-system play.
The Knights will pick up the kill from Allred to make it 23-20, but right now the Knights really need 4 or 5 points in a row.
Yeah, this is Laree Crockett. Now they're back in rotation 1 with the setter in their right back. This is their best rotation, they tell me.
And they go to Hall on the left side. And again, she is unstoppable at this point in the match. 24-20. And Hall checks out, but she was able to put her team from a 1-point advantage when she checked in to a 4-point lead.
That's exactly right. Could be just enough for Wesleyan. Oh, just not a hard swing.
And Britton with a little tip. They'll try Gwynn. And they pick up the point to make it 24-21. It almost looked like some confusion between Gwynn and Allred as to who was going to take that.
Yeah, it looked like it was probably to Gwynn, but it's on the 5-foot line. Sometimes the front row player's not sure who that ball is meant for.
24-21. Lots of set points here for the Marlins. Allred with a great dig there. Gwynn tries to put it away.
Oh, he called it's a point Knights. The referee called a double on the setter.
Yeah, 24-22 now. Still, the Knights need the next 2 points, or otherwise they're going to be trailing 2-0 in sets. It's still a set point here for Virginia Wesleyan.
Good for the Knights. There are no timeouts for Wesleyan.
And 24-23.
Yeah, with no timeouts, it's hard to stop momentum. So now Knights, with one more good serve, can break even.
Big point here.
Oh, no.
Oh, 25-23 on a service error. And Virginia Wesleyan holds on to pick up that second set. So they won the first set, Tom, 25-19. They pick up set 2, 25-23. And the Knights had just a few service errors in the first 2 sets and a few mistakes. And not too many mistakes and not any service errors that I can recall at all for Virginia Wesleyan.
Yeah, so far that's better than Southern Virginia making those few mistakes or more than a few mistakes. If they do make less mistakes now, I still like the Southern Virginia's chances now a little bit better than what I did. I'm sure that Hannah Allred wants that ball back, that service, but she's a senior. And I think that is the difference between a senior and a freshman. The freshman may let that misserve to give a set to Wesleyan. That might just get to a freshman, but Hannah Allred's been there many, many times, and she'll just come back, I think, without worrying about that.
So I believe for the first time this season, the Knights have lost 2 sets at home in a match.
Boy, that's
they still have to lose one more, obviously, to lose their first match at home this year.
Yeah. It'll be interesting that how each team comes out of this timeout.
So again, the Knights trail here. Midway through this match, they trail 2-0 right now for Virginia Wesleyan. The Marlins are on top. We'll take a little break here from the Knight Sports Arena. Bresnahan along with Coach Tom Peterson, the men's volleyball coach here, as we bring you all the action tonight from the Knight Sports Arena of women's volleyball action. The next to last home match of the regular season for the Knights as they're taking on Virginia Wesleyan tonight. But Tom, again, Virginia Wesleyan picking up the first two sets, 25-19 in set one, 25-23 in set two. And they just haven't made too many mistakes, the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan. In fact, they have no service errors compared to the Knights, who had 9 service errors in those first two sets.
That's a big statistic right there. And also, look, we've been talking about number 3, Hall for Wesleyan. She is hitting .474 with a total of 19 attempts. That's pretty big. She leads everybody. That's a good hitting percentage. Allred hitting .241, which is very tolerable, but no one else is really contributing right now as far as kills. So they've got to get it going.
And they'll start set 3 with Allred serving out. And that is the 10th service error in the first 3 sets now for the Knights.
Wow, so Allred making the last service error in the first one of this set.
And this is new territory for the Knights this season. Again, they've never lost at home. They've never been down 2 sets to none at home. So just as far as being down 2 sets heading into the third set, Tom, this is all new ground for them at the Knight Sports Arena this season.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of hard.
And Virginia Wesleyan, they had lost a couple in a row coming into today. So you've got to figure they've got confidence and momentum and maybe some incentive to stop their losing skid.
Yeah, and it's 2-0 now.
Yeah, a long way to go, obviously, in set 3 here, Tom. But if the Knights do end up losing this match, they're just going to have to put this one out of mind and gear up for Friday with that big conference match against CNU on Friday.
Yeah, as we said just a while ago, sometimes a loss can be good for you. You don't ever want to lose, but sometimes it just gears you up for the rest of the season. So we'll see how Southern Virginia reacts after this match. Even if they win the match, they can now say, hey, look how we played, guys. We've got to practice harder and better and do better than what we just did.
The Knights just picked up their first point of set 3, but not able to get that point on a good kill attempt by Christina Scott for Virginia Wesleyan.
So far the Knights, you can tell that they're just not, reacting the same way as they have in other matches. Not like that ball right there. Maybe they don't get it, but just the effort to get it was still not quite there.
Now you go back to last Friday against York, the Knights were just a terror at the net, blocking shot after shot by York. But they have not had too many blocks after the opening moments of set 1 against Virginia Wesleyan.
Yeah.
Lonis tips it over. And the Marlins are blocked by the Knights that time. And Lonis is blocked. Now Gwynn will give it a try.
Gwynn with a really nice angle. That, boy, not very many people can hit that shot in the court without an approach. Nice shot by Gwynn.
And the Knights pick up their second point here in set 3. Tiggs will now serve. And another service error. I believe that's number 11.
4-2. And again, Wesleyan continuing to lead by just a few points almost the entire way.
But that second set, the Knights had come all the way back to make it 24-23, had a chance to tie and maybe really send some Marlins shivering, I guess you could say, in that set too. And then, of course, Allred had the service error that was the 25th point for Virginia Wesleyan. Otherwise, who knows, maybe set 2 would still be going.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the Knights were coming back, and it was just when you miss your serves at the wrong time, it's a killer.
Here's Denisha Hall with a little tip, and she took the Knights off guard with that one with her left hand.
You know, it's interesting strategy. What rotation you start in, Hall, number 3, you would almost think that Wesleyan would start where Hall starts in the left front, in the front row, but
and that one is in. That's an ace.
Yeah, that time the ball floated. It seemed like the the big fans here maybe drove that ball into the court.
Held it up a little bit.
Yeah.
McKinley Knight thought it was going out, let it go. Now that one will go into the net for a service error. I believe that's the first service error tonight for Virginia Wesleyan.
Yeah, 6-4 or 4-6.
And now Lonis will serve for the Knights.
Lonis has a good serve.
And that one.
Yep, it went into the court.
And unable to return it is Virginia Wesleyan to make it 6-5.
Lonis has been getting her serves in here these last two sets. That's one of the bright spots.
A couple of matches ago, she was really struggling with her serve, Tom.
Yep.
Here's Hall. Little tip. Win over to Crockett. And now Higher with the kill.
That's good. When Higher can kill the ball like that and celebrate with the team, that really lifts the Knights.
And it is 6-2-6 now.
Another serve for Lonis.
Another good low serve by Haley Lonis. Here is Hall. Gwynn right there. Now Allred. She picks up the point.
7-6 now for the Knights.
Knights have not had too many leads in this match.
And you could tell the crowd's getting a little bit into it. There are a lot of people that are standing on the sidelines more than usual. They're getting anxious.
And the ace by Lonis hits the net, rolls over, 8-6 Knights.
How many in a row is that for the
Knights?
Knights?
And a timeout is taken by Virginia Wesleyan.
Yeah.
So the Knights have come all the way back, taking the lead here, 8-6. Virginia Wesleyan has really been able to make good use of their timeouts tonight. Every time they take a timeout, Tom, it seems like they're able to go after the timeout, maybe pick up a point or two.
That is true. Yeah, Wesleyan seems to be very, very well coached. They have good strategy. They have both outside hitters for Wesleyan are good outside hitters, but Hall, boy, number 3, when she's in the front row, she's been almost unstoppable. The last time across the front row, she didn't get a lot of swings, and now she is. Well, she has one more rotation left in the front row. Let's see if the ball does go to Hall here.
Lonis will serve. Knights on top by 2.
Boy, struggling now with the passing.
Crockett, a little dump. Hall will get it back over.
Still not a swing for Hall.
Hall with a little tip, and it's out.
Yeah, right now. Now Wesleyan is in the, I don't know, they're struggling now with ball control. So that's a huge turnaround.
9-6, Knights on top here by 3.
Well, that ball was touched by the block.
And it's 9-7 now. So the Marlins able to pick up that point to snap that streak by the Knights.
That was a long streak. But Wesleyan still hanging around.
Crockett will try higher.
Ooh, let that ball go.
And here's Hall. Good block by the Knights to hold that ball up over to Allred. And she dumps it perfectly.
You know, it's interesting that we talked about Hall, and now for all these last, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 swings, she hasn't swung at the ball hard yet.
10-7, Knights by 3, and there is an error by Larry Crockett. I think that might be up to 12 now for service errors for the Knights for the match.
Yeah, if Wesleyan
and
does
just
come
one
back.
For Wesleyan.
Yeah, if Wesleyan does come back and win this match, boy, the Knights will look back on their serving for sure.
Allred is blocked. Knight will go over to Gwynn, and she can't get it over. 10-9 now. That's a really tough ratio to overcome, I would think, in any match where the opposition has one service error and you've got like 12.
That's absolutely right.
Knights pick up the point for Hannah Allred. 11-9, Southern Virginia. Allred will serve.
Well, so far, Gwen and Allred able to hang in there, help the team hang in there.
And there's a miss hit on another serve. I believe that's up to 13 service errors now.
Jim, stop counting.
Well, maybe 13's a lucky number in this case.
That's right.
And that's where they're going to stop. But much like where the Knights were having a problem making the comeback at Tom against Virginia Wesleyan, now they're having problems trying to put them away here in set 3.
That's right.
Virginia Wesleyan's trying to make a comeback here. And they have tied it at 11.
Yeah, neither team able to get a really good connection going. Just a good hard swing. They're struggling with ball control on both sides.
Alyssa Taylor serving here for the Marlins in this 11-11 set 3. And Britton is blocked out of bounds. And Virginia Wesleyan back on top now, 12-11.
Yeah, Britton has a good arm as well. That's the other outside hitter that's opposite Hall. Maybe she doesn't have quite the arm, but she seems to be even more consistent.
She came in second on the team in kills right behind Hall.
Boy, they're going to call that a no-go. It didn't cross the net for Gwen. Just wasn't a good connection.
And now the Knights have, I believe, surrendered 4 points in a row from an 11-9 lead to a 13-11 deficit. Gwen will give it a try. Blocked out of bounds.
Wow.
And the Knights pick up an all-important point to make it 13-12.
Yeah, Gwen and Allred still helping the team to hang in there. That was a great swing, trying to go down the line, went off the block.
Knights serving. Knights trail by 1.
Oh, now the linesperson called that ball out. It did look like it was in, and so the head referee overruled the linesperson. When the head referee can see for certain a certain call, that's what they do call. He called it in.
And it's 14-12. Virginia Wesleyan by 2. Tiggs blocked.
And what are they going to call? 4 hits. They're going to say it didn't cross the net. I'm not sure about that call.
15-12. Knights now trail by 3. They had the lead here in set 3 by 2 or 3 points, and now they're down by 3 points. Win is blocked, and the Knights can't get the ball.
Wow.
Knights may need a timeout here.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're going to take one.
Yeah, they've got to get going now, Jim. Like you say, just when they take a timeout, they have to change the momentum. It almost looked like when the Knights came back and tied it up and even went ahead by a point, then now they relaxed once again. They said, okay, yeah, this is where we're supposed to be, but no, they started to relax once again.
I believe the biggest lead they've had is maybe 2 at 11-9, but since then they've been outscored by my count 7-1.
Wow. So important, very important timeout now. If the Knights want to come back to win this match, they have to do it now. It's getting toward the end of the game, end of the match.
And that run by Virginia Wesleyan was done largely with Hall on the bench.
That's correct, yeah. Number 7, Britton, she did some work herself, the other outside hitter.
Knights really need to pick up a point here, down by 4 now, 16-12. They lose this set. They lose their first home match of the season, and they pick up the point there thanks to Penny Gwynn to make it 16-13.
Yeah, you know, we get to see Gwynn all the time, and we just know how good she is at that roll shot, and so maybe the other teams can't anticipate like we can up here in the booth, but you would think that somebody would come up for that tip.
And a miss hit by Virginia Wesleyan. They almost didn't get it back over. They do get it back over. And now Lonis is blocked, and another point. I think it was Britton, number 7, who blocked that one to make it 17-13. And now the Knights trail by 4 here in set 3.
Yeah, Britton, I'm impressed by number 7, Britton from Wesleyan, blocking and hitting.
She's a 5'10 sophomore out of Midlothian, Virginia. And Britton will serve.
Wow.
Gwynn, unstoppable on that kill, 17-14. Now Gwynn will serve. She is certainly capable serving to maybe lead her team to a string of points, and that's exactly what the Knights need right now, trailing by 3 as Hall re-enters the game.
Oh, good serve, but a good pass.
Knight will go to Gwynn. They're going to go to Hall. Blocked by the Knights. They'll try Hall again.
There's a swing by Hall.
Good point here. And Wesleyan was able to sneak that one in. It was number 12, Lauren Topper, the sophomore, going cross court, and somehow Tom getting that ball in.
Yeah, I guess the Knights thought that ball was going to go wide. Just let it go, but it came at such an angle. It was in the court by several feet.
18-14. Knights again trail here by 4. All Red will take a shot.
Well, it seems like the battle of the outside hitters right now. Hall and Britton versus Gwynn and Allred.
But the Knights are in that position, Tom, where they're going to need 3 or 4 points in a row again.
That's right.
Lonis, good low serve. Hall right in the right position. They go to Allred again. Good dig by the Marlins. Hall will try it. Good dig by Gwynn. Allred is blocked. Higher gets the point.
Wow. It's a great swing by Higher. She's had a few good and important swings now. It's 18 or 16-18.
So the Knights are within 2. They had trailed by 4. Tipped over lightly by Virginia Wesleyan. Allred goes to the back. Puts it in. 18-17. Knights climb to within 1. Lonis doing the serving here, and a timeout is taken by Virginia Wesleyan. They don't want the Knights to go on any further of a run.
Now, let's talk about Lonis. Lonis, in the last few matches, we've talked about her serve being kind of all or nothing, but now her serving has gone in. She's made, 7 or 8 in a row?
Yeah, she's having a
or
fantastic
like
night.
Yeah.
And the Knights have been able to climb back within 1. This has been a kind of a strange set. The Knights actually, at one point in the set early in the first half of set 3, they actually had a 2-point lead. And then Virginia Wesleyan was able to get to a 4-point lead at 18-14. And now the Knights have gone on a 3-0 run to make it 18-17.
So I hope I didn't jinx Lonis by talking about her serve. We'll see. This is an important serve out of the timeout.
And Lonis' serve is too far. 19-17, and so that was a big point for the Marlins, who only need to win this third set to capture the match. It would be the first home match loss for the Knights in this 2017 season. They lost the first set 25-19, fell in set 2 25-23, and now trail 19-17.
Ooh, that's a big call. Boy, that was very close.
Very close. I thought that was going in, and luckily for the Knights, it just went out to make it 19-18 with Crockett now serving. That really was close, Tom.
Yeah, it could have gone either way in my mind.
Crockett will serve. Good low serve by Laree Crockett. Hall's shot is blocked. Great play by Gwynn.
They're going to call a net on Wesleyan, so it's all tied up.
19-19. What a play by Gwynn to keep that one alive for the Knights.
Wow, yes, and now it's crunch time once again.
See if the Knights can keep it going here with Crockett serving.
Wow, good serve.
They go to Hall.
Boy, McKinley Knight making some great digs. The Knights take the lead,
20-19. You get the feeling if the Knights can get over the hump and get this set, they've got a lot of momentum heading into set 4.
Absolutely.
Higher puts it away on a mistake by Virginia Wesleyan. 21-19 Knights. They need 4 more points for a set win.
Yeah, coming in, I was talking to the coaches for the Knights, and they couldn't tell that Wesleyan was such a good passing team on the film that they have. And right now they're struggling with the passing.
And a point for Virginia Wesleyan, as I don't think the Knights were expecting that little soft shot there by Denisha Hall.
Yeah, Hall hasn't been so effective. As soon as I start talking about somebody, then it kind of goes the other way. I better stop.
21-20. Here's Higher. Hits it too far. And so the Knights had taken a 21-19 lead, and now we're all even at 21.
Boy.
Knights will try to pick up this point with Allred, and she does it, 22-21. Hannah Allred puts the Knights back on top, and now she'll serve.
The senior, Hannah Allred doing a job on the outside, as well as Penny Gwynn.
Put away by Virginia Wesleyan to tie it at 22.
Yeah, the Knights have an interesting system, if I can just say that real fast, where the left side blocker comes to block the middle hitter for the other team. And that time it was Gwynn just not able to get a hand on it.
Anybody's set, 22-22. Knights need to win 3 sets in a row. Britton is blocked, and the Knights pick up the point. Tiggs right there for the block, 23-22. The Knights are back on top by 1.
This is going to be a good set.
McKinley Knights serving. Knights need 2 points for the set win to keep this match going. Good dig by Hannah Allred. They go to Tiggs. It is blocked, and it's blocked out of bounds. 24-22.
Great play, and it's the right person to go to at the right time. Teague's able to put it away from the right side.
Knights trying to pick up this set and stay in this match. Hit over by the Marlins. Crockett to Gwynn. Blocked. There's Britton. And it's out, and the Knights win it 25-22.
Well, this could bring the Knights to life now. So for the rest of the way, even that set, they knew that they were in a battle. They just won it at the end. So now maybe they have the momentum going to bring it home in 5.
And maybe for the first time this season, we will see a 5th set here at the Knight Sports Arena. That is something we have not seen this year. The Knights have never lost at home. They've never been pushed to 4 sets, I believe, at home.
That is
actually
correct.
5 sets. They've actually won a couple of times, I believe, 3-1 in sets, but they have never been pushed to a 5th set.
Yeah, that is correct. Now, the Knights do have to be careful when you spend a lot of energy trying to make that, coming back from down 2-0, and you spend a lot of energy, sometimes you just tend to relax, and it's hard to talk about. Easy to do and hard to say, hey, we got to now get this next set, but you almost tend to relax.
Set as she was in the first 2 sets, maybe she's starting to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, that very well could be. She seems to be fairly streaky, not taking some big swings when it seemed like she could have,
So the Knights, again, here have a chance if they can pick up a win in set 4 to do something they haven't done yet this year, and that would be to send a home match to a 5th and deciding set, which, of course, Tom, would be up to 15 points and not 25.
That is correct, 5th game, really good teams. A coin for the 5th game is worth just, they say it's like 3 or 4 percentage points as far as winning or losing, because you want to side out. If you win the coin toss in Game 5, you almost always pick receive, because siding out is just a little bit easier than serving to get a point.
Because I think just last week, Christopher Newport, in achieving a 5-0 record in the conference at Mary Washington, had to go to 5 sets and won that 5th set 16-4. If they had lost that match, the Knights would be all by themselves in first place.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here, this is another big set now. As we talked about, the at-large bid, in order to have any hope for an at-large bid, if they're in that position, they have to win this match. So what a great comeback in that set number 3. But now this one's even harder. We'll see how the Knights do.
Yeah, I don't think the Knights are really worried about it too much. But again, they came in 17-4. They still, if they could win today, they'd go 18-4. They still have, by my count, 6 more matches left on the schedule. 3 in the conference, and I believe 3 outside the conference. And a couple of years ago, in 2014, they had 21 wins. That's the most by my record for volleyball wins for the women in Division III action as a Division III member. So the Knights, obviously, if they could win today, they would be just 4 wins away from 22, which would, I believe, if as far as Division III marks are concerned, a new school record.
Yeah. And as far as the NCAA is concerned, too, the NCAA is kind of the featured organization for volleyball and most sports. And NCAA records, and this absolutely is the best that the Knights have been, winning and losing their record, but other statistics as well. The Knights having several players individually in the top statistics in the nation.
Knights have conference matches coming up Friday and Saturday, and next Friday and Saturday. 4 matches left. They have 2 non-conference matches. Trying to pick up a win here in set 4. And they get the point.
Oh, good play at the net.
Well, no question. If the Knights can pull off this set 4 win to go even at 2-2, they would have the momentum going into set 5. But, of course, again, at 15 points, getting to 15 points, it doesn't take much for momentum. That thing can turn around in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Gwynn out, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, game 5. Sometimes coaches just say, "Oh, it's just it's a flip of the coin to see who wins in game 5." That's really not true. But game to 15 does change things quite a bit.
Well, that's one of those deals where you really don't want to go down 6-0.
Absolutely.
And right now the Knights just have to worry about getting to a set 5. And Virginia Wesleyan takes a 2-1 lead.
Boy, that was a good swing. Is that number 10?
Yeah, that was Christina Scott. She's a 5'11 junior out of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. She gives Virginia Wesleyan a 2-1 lead. And Gwynn comes right back for the kill to make it 2-2.
You know, you would think that when on blocking, you line up where you think the hitter is going, and Gwynn just able to go not even that extreme angle on some of those shots and hitting it very hard.
And McKinley Knight long on that serve. And the Knights trail 3-2. Had been a while since they had a service error, but still the Knights not really going to be satisfied, I guess, when this match is over with that particular category.
That's true.
Here's Virginia Wesleyan getting ready to serve with a 3-2 lead. They go to Britton on the left side, blocked by the Knights, but they can't return it, and now Virginia Wesleyan's got a 4-2 lead.
Yeah, it's not just Wesleyan's not going to roll over, it looks like, in any sense of the word. In any of these sets, it could go their way.
Virginia Wesleyan as the Marlins now surge to a 5-2 lead.
You know, the Wesleyan is probably equaled. I haven't kept track of numbers, but it's been a while since the Knights have been out-blocked, and right now, at least it's even.
They'll go to Gwynn, and she puts that one away. Right now, Gwynn is single-handedly keeping her team in it.
Yeah, that is true. Gwynn hitting the ball down the line that time after hitting cross-court. Such a good hitter.
5-3. Tiggs will serve. And put away by the Knights, but a good dig there by Virginia Wesleyan. They go to Britton, and she dumps it in. The Knights are able to get that back over, or at least it looked like they did.
Yeah, I think the underneath referee called that ball hitting the ground.
And so it's 6,
I think it did.
6-3 now.
Yep.
And it's a 3-point lead, and Hall is back into the rotation here for the Virginia Wesleyan Marlins, with Britton now serving for Virginia Wesleyan. They'll try Lonis, a little tip. Blocked apparently by the Knights, and the point goes to Virginia Wesleyan. They have jumped to a 7-3 lead now.
Yeah, Wesleyan's impressive. When they set the middle set, the Knights have chosen to block one-on-one in the middle because they're such an outside team, Wesleyan. So that, there's another great swing by Gwynn.
And a tough dig that was not able to make by Alyssa Taylor for Virginia Wesleyan. So the Knights pick up the point to go 7-4 now, and Gwynn will serve.
Mateus number 18. Wesleyan can get the ball to her in the middle of the court.
Ooh, another service
or number
error.
12 rather.
I think that might be 15 now for the game, and it's now 8-4. Virginia Wesleyan on top here by 4.
No, it was number 18. Boy, it's good that she went to the back row, number 18, after hitting that middle set.
Knights need a run. 9-4 now, and the Knights have just not really been able to display the ability, and maybe it's because of Virginia Wesleyan, Tom, the ability to go on a 5 or 6 point run.
Yeah, and like I said a while ago, it's a tendency after
10-4.
Point, yeah.
Knights might need a timeout here.
Yeah, after you win an emotional set number 3 after being down 2-0, the tendency can be to just relax too much in the next set.
10-4. Still a ways to go here in set 4, but a good start for the Marlins of Virginia Wesleyan as Allred puts it away, make it 10-5.
You would think that Wesleyan would say, hey, come to the angle. Let's block angle. At least let's try to block one of the angles, not just go in between. Boy, Allred just crushing that ball.
See if Lonis can get her serve in. She does. 10-5 is your score. Here's Hall. Good block there by Lonis, digging it over to the Knights, and now the Hall gets it again with a tip on the left hand. Allred, and returned by Virginia Wesleyan. Good long point here. Here's Lonis getting it over, and they'll go to Hall again on the left side. Now Gwynn from the back row can't get it over.
Yeah, Gwynn just not trying a real strong shot that time, and the roll shot didn't work from the back row that particular time. 11-5.
Knights are getting to that point here, Tom, in set 4 where they're getting to the dangerous part where you don't want to fall too far behind. They're down by 6 now.
Yeah.
There's a service error, rare one. Just 2 or 3 for the game, I think, now for the Marlins. Important point for the Knights to make it 11-6.
Yeah, and I just wonder about Hall. She hasn't been able to swing very hard for quite a while. I wonder why she just doesn't smack the ball hard and see what happens.
And another service error for the Knights.
Boy. Well, you stopped counting, and I don't know what you were at, but it's like
I
15.
think I'm up to 15, yeah. 12-6 now. Blocked by the Marlins, and they dump it in for the point.
Ooh, it is kind of getting away from the Knights. They do call a timeout. It is 13-6.
13-6. Knights trail here by 7. They had so much momentum after winning the third set. And you got to remember that second set, even though the Marlins won at 25-23, that was a set that could have gone either way. So this could have easily been the Knights with a 2-1 lead heading into set 4. But unfortunately, it's the Marlins on top, and now they are closing in on a match victory tonight.
Yeah, when the Knights look back on this, let's say they don't win. If you look at the statistics, you can't just really rely just on 2 outside hitters over and over and over again. High are able to get a few swings, but it's just not enough. Just a few swings, getting more out of that position. And then Lonis, I don't remember calling her name on a hit for quite a while now. And Teagues, we need somebody else. The Knights need somebody else to be able to kill a ball.
Knights really need this point. Here's Allred. Blocked by the Knights. Can they get it over? No.
14-6. Yeah, that's quite a lead now.
You know, the Knights trailing here by 8 now, 14-6, Tom. What's it going to take to make this kind of comeback?
Yeah, well,
get the point right there.
That's exactly right. Somebody else killing the ball besides the outside hitters. It still wasn't that crisp, but at least it was a kill. Maybe that can get them going.
So it's 14-7 now. It's B. Britton. Crockett goes to Gwynn.
Oh. What's
And
the referee going to call? Oh, the referee is going to overrule the linesperson once again.
I'm thinking they're saying it was blocked.
Well,
touch, because I don't think the ball stayed in bounds. It didn't look like to me.
Yeah, the referee gave the signal of inbounds somehow. That's an interesting call. Yeah.
14-8. Knights will take it. They really need some points right now. Still trailing by 6. They go to Britton. Blocked by Heyer. 14-9. 3 points in a row for the Knights.
Heyer doing a nice job on blocking. She's blocked several now, been in the right position. She blocked one-on-one quite a while ago. That helps the Knights.
Good strong serve by Allred. And a double hit, I believe.
Yeah.
And now you wonder if the Marlins might take a timeout here to stop this run. It's 14-10 yet. They're going to take a timeout.
Another good timeout, I think, for Wesleyan.
Knights taking a good run. We mentioned they've had a struggle, Tom, today, getting a 5 or 6 point run. By my count, that was a 4-point run to go from 14-6 to 14-10. Question is, coming out of the timeout, is can you keep this run going?
Yeah, it's so hard to tell right at this point. I don't think the Knights are playing their best volleyball. They would say that, I'm sure.
And let's face it, I mean, somewhere along the line, you just can't keep winning. I mean, you're going to come up flat, or maybe just come up against an opponent, as the case is here with Virginia Wesleyan, just really having a heck of a night.
Yeah, the target gets bigger on your back the more you win. And I'm sure that Wesleyan knows that the Knights are a very good team, and they're just giving it their all.
14-10. They go to Britton on the left side. And now Gwynn will try. Good save by the Marlins. Marlins will try the right side this time, and the Knights get the point.
Nice block. Very disciplined block by the Knights to get the ball back. They couldn't put it down, but third or fourth time was the charm. Nice play.
So the Knights have 5 points in a row. They look like they were dead to rights at 14-6, but now they're only trailing by 3 here in set 4, and Tiggs gets the call.
Yeah, it looks like a net on Wesleyan. So, boy, that's a long run for the Knights.
6 in a row.
You keep thinking, oh, boy, the Knights must be ahead because that's such a long run, but they were down so far. Still down by 2, 12-14. That's a play in the middle of the court once again.
And the kill was put away by Christina Scott.
Yeah, you would think that maybe Wesleyan ought to set the middle just a little bit more. They've had quite a number of kills now.
15-12. Marlins will serve with the 3-point lead. They go to Tiggs on the right side. Now Wesleyan will go over to the left side. Now Gwynn will try to get a kill and does.
Even you could tell that Wesleyan was kind of ready for that roll shot, but still could. Penny Gwynn able to put down a roll shot with 3 people trying to go after it.
15-13. Knights will try to go on another run here. With a 2-point deficit. Here's Britton.
Yeah, there's a middle shot again. Maybe Wesleyan was listening. In fact, who was it that killed that one?
I think it was Britton, number 7.
Yeah,
she's kind of taken over from Hall.
Yeah, number 7, and that's in the middle of the court. So that was their left side hitter coming to the middle of the court. That's a great play.
16-13. Miss hit by Gwynn, and the Knights just get that over. Allred with a great play, but not able to save it.
Yeah, 17-13 now, up to 4-point lead for Wesleyan.
Still a ways to go to get to 25, but Wesleyan is inching closer to a match victory.
Yeah, this is going to be another nail-biter right at the end.
Knights need this point. It's Gwynn putting it away to make it 17-14.
Boy, I'm surprised that Gwynn and Allred have an arm left. They've had so many swings in all of these matches.
And now Tiggs will serve. Service error. By my count, that's 16, I think, for 16. The night.
Wow.
And could be off by 1 or 2, but that is a hefty margin, especially when you consider that the Marlins probably have less than 5 service errors.
Absolutely, yeah. And the ace to error ratio is not very good for the Knights. They haven't aced them that many times.
Allred strong hit that time.
Oh, my.
Blocked out of bounds by the Knights.
Wesleyan very fortunate that play because the setter released and Allred put it to where the setter was supposed to be, and the back row player had to make a great play.
19-14.
Yeah.
Knights getting into that little area of danger. And Gwynn saves it with a big kill there to make it 19-15. And here's where the Knights need that 4 or 5 point run now.
That's it. That's right. This is crunch time again.
Who will the Knights go to? They're going to go to Allred. She puts it away. 19-16.
Now, if you're Wesleyan, you have to be careful because it looks like they're just not swinging at the ball quite as much, just getting the ball back. Both teams have to play hard and swing hard at the end.
Yeah, almost looks like Wesleyan's trying to kind of limp to the finish line.
Yeah.
Good dig there by McKinley Knight. Marlin's going to go to Hall. Now Allred. They go to Hall on the left side. No, double hit, I believe.
Yeah, they're going to call a lift or a double on the setter.
19-17.
When you're not the designated setter and you lift the ball at all, you're usually going to get a call against you.
That's 3 in a row for the Knights after they trailed 19-14. Good block by Southern Virginia. I think it was Lonis. Hall.
Oh, great dig. Great up by McKinley Knight.
Great play by Knight again, but the point will go to Wesleyan to make it 20-17.
Looks like they netted. The Knights netted, so this is now crunch time again, 20-17.
Marlins are 5 points away from the match win. Knights need points and in a hurry. Here in set 4, trailing 2-1. Allred, strong shot blocked. They go to Hall. Great dig again by McKinley Knight. Crockett sets up Allred. Somehow the Marlins got that back over. Blocked by the Knights for the point. And now they're starting to block Denisha Hall.
I think that's why Hall hasn't really swung at that many balls. The Knights have adjusted to where she's trying to hit it. Oh, the scoreboard just went off, so they may take a timeout here to get the scoreboard back on. Boy, that depending on how long that the electricity's out on the scoreboard.
That was the 18th point, I believe, for the Knights.
2018.
Yeah, I believe so.
Boy, you don't want to plan for this. But now how does a long timeout or a delay, if it's very long at all, how does that affect either team?
I'm sure either team doesn't mind a timeout for a couple of minutes to catch their breath and to kind of regroup.
Oh, it's back on now, so they'll call time in here pretty soon.
20-18.
Here's Lonis serving. She's been really good, except when I talk about her.
See what she can do here, because again, the Knights really do need a run of 3 or 4 points. And great, it's an ace. Nope, it's going to be returned by the Marlins. Almost an ace. And the Knights get it back over. Great play by Southern Virginia to return that ball.
Oh.
And it's a point for the Marlins.
Boy, the Marlins. Actually, that's a great play by the Marlins. Yeah. 2 times in the middle, and on the second time, all blockers up for the Knights, but the middle blocker able to throw the ball right to the corner.
Knights were able to make several plays to keep that point alive until the very end. 21-18. Southern Virginia down by 3.
Oh, boy, that was a big block by Wesleyan.
And it was blocked in. And it's 22-18, and now a timeout is taken. The Knights had gotten to within 2, Tom, and then 2 really well-earned points by Virginia Wesleyan, and they've got a 4-point lead, and now the Marlins are just 3 points away from upsetting the Knights here on their home court.
Yeah, and even if Southern Virginia comes back a few points, it's going to go right down to the wire now. It's going to be anybody could win this now. The Southern Virginia has the power, but Wesleyan just doesn't make mistakes.
Well, one time tonight, the Knights have had, I believe, a 6-point run where they trailed at 1 point 14-6, and made up a number of points. I think they got close to 14-14. It was either a 5 or 6 point run that they had. But right now, Tom, they need one of those runs. They need a 5 or 6 point run. They're down here, and they're on their last legs perhaps here in set 4 after losing 2 of the first 3 sets.
Yeah.
It's going to be Hannah Allred getting the point.
You would just think, let's block angle, but 22-19.
So the Knights
19-22.
get to within 3, and here's Crockett serving. The important serve here. Knights trying to pick up their 20th point. Hall, good dig there by Knight. Crockett dashes in to make the play. And it's out.
A little indecision by the setter for Wesleyan.
22-21.
Just not a great location for Hall to try to get another swing. 22-20. Timeout.
22-20 is the score. So the Knights are within 2 here. And Denisha Hall, who was dominating for Virginia Wesleyan, Tom, in the first 2 sets, has been very human here in set 3 and set 4.
Yeah, to me, she appears to be a streaky hitter. So the Knights actually have to be very careful that Hall just doesn't go up and swing really hard at one and get it through. But so far, I think the Knights have done a great adjustment on number 7, Hall. No, I'm sorry. What is number Hall?
3.
Number 3.
Yeah. And you're considering, again, some of the mistakes the Knights have made tonight, especially all the service errors. Again, they're just 5 points away from winning set 4 and forcing this into a 5th set.
Boy, everybody's standing up now.
22-20 is your score. And here is Crockett serving again. And it's a service error. Did not need that one. And it's 23-20. The Marlins now just need 2 points for a match victory.
Boy, the consistency of Wesleyan versus the errors on the Knights put Wesleyan in this position.
See if the Knights can rebound from that service error and get their 21st point. Marlins are trying to put themselves into a match point situation. Allred blocked. 24-20, match point coming up for Virginia Wesleyan.
Now that ball's worked every time for Allred, except for that time Wesleyan finally went to the angle to block that angle.
Knights need 7 straight points here. Marlins with the match point. And it's in for a victory for Virginia Wesleyan. They pull the upset and defeat Southern Virginia 3-1.
Wow. If you again, just to say it one more time, Wesleyan just made the fewer mistakes tonight, and they were able to get just not as many service errors. I'm sure that's going to haunt Southern Virginia the rest of the night in the locker room. But let me just say that this is the elephant now maybe is gone from the room.
Right.
So that Southern Virginia now can concentrate on just winning the conference. And they know that, we've had this long streak. That's over with. We don't have to worry about it. Now the big game is coming up on Friday.
Yeah, Virginia Wesleyan improves to 14-8 on the season. The Knights with their first home loss of the year. And they are now 17-5 on the season. And looking ahead here, we've got Christopher Newport on the road Friday night, 6 o'clock, to be followed Saturday at 3 p.m. at Mary Washington. Obviously, the focus will be on that first one against CNU. Both teams are 5-0 in the conference. The winner of that Friday night match at Christopher Newport will have, at least for 24 hours, or about 24 hours, the conference lead by themselves.
Yeah, inside track on conference champion. Even if they're tied at the end of the season, I'm sure the tiebreaker goes to the head-to-head.
Right,
and, yeah. So a huge match coming up on Friday. And actually, this match tonight, they were Southern Virginia were able to come back at some times. They just didn't. They made too many errors tonight. I'm sure during practice now they will be more crisp, more intense, and they'll be ready for Friday.
When you look at the coming weekend as a whole, the key is, especially if they end up losing that game on Friday, the match on CNU on Friday, they have to be able to rebound, win or lose
Right.
against CNU, ready for Mary Washington, because Mary Washington has a pretty good team. They're in the top 6.
That is correct. CNU seems to be the team everyone's talking about, and that is a concern. Let's say that you do even beat CNU,
Yeah.
and you celebrate and everything's great, but now to turn around the very next day on the road is very tough. So you can't just – it's 2 matches they need to win.
And as far as tonight is concerned, do the Knights just kind of put this behind them and move on, or do they take a look at some of the areas they struggled with, namely the service errors, and try to work on that, perhaps in practice Wednesday and Thursday, getting ready for Friday?
Yeah, I think at this point in the season, it's kind of tough just to work on some technical things. Oh, let's serve different from what we did tonight. And technically, what I think you talk about is, hey, you guys, it was the effort tonight. We just weren't on. We have to make sure that we're on. We're working hard every single point. There are no small points in volleyball, no small things. And I think that's what you do as a coach and as a team in practice, and I'm sure that they will.
Then we got the final numbers. Anything leap out? The one obviously we talked about just a few seconds ago, the service errors, 19 for the game for the Knights.
Well, here's one statistic that I see real fast, that Southern Virginia came back to actually lead just barely in hitting percentage, 201 to 199. So the last few games anyway of this match, last few sets, Southern Virginia able to outscore or out-hit Wesleyan.
Yeah, I mean, Denisha Hall, who was hitting at 474 through the first 2 sets, wound up at 220.
Yeah, and she had 41 swings. That's a ton of swings. But on the Knights side, look at Penny Gwynn, 52 swings. That's huge. Once again, hitting 288. And let's see, Hannah Allred, she had 52 swings as well, hitting 269. So again, the strength of the Knights hitting outside is great. But now let's look at the service errors. Service errors for the Knights, 19. And 6 receiving errors. And for Wesleyan, only 3 service errors and 5 receiving errors. So less receiving errors actually by 1, but the difference is the
Yeah, when you
serving
look at the
tonight.
19-3 disadvantage in service errors, it's really kind of amazing. And you have to credit the Knights for getting as close as they did and almost sending this to 5 sets.
Absolutely. Boy, you know, it's you live and die by the serve and the serve receive. If you're in system, which means you get the ball to the setter where she can set the ball easily, and you do it a lot more often than the other team, you're going to win. And when you serve in or out and make it hard on the other team, the serve and serve receive, always it seems to boil down to those 2 statistics.
Yeah. So a well-earned victory tonight for Virginia Wesleyan as they improved to 14-8 on the season. The Knights, again, with their first home loss of the year, Knights dropped to 17-5. Good luck to the Knights, though, when they play on the road Friday at Christopher Newport and Saturday at Mary Washington. That'll wrap things up here from the Knight Sports Arena. For Coach Tom Peterson, I'm Jim Bresnahan, also for Craig Reese and all of our excellent production staff. Thanks again for joining us tonight for Knights Volleyball. Have a great evening, everyone.